Hey, I'm Hannah from Hannah Brown Yoga and Bodywork. We're going to be moving through a couple different practices today to help release tension in the feet. You're going to need a couple different props, and these aren't our usual yoga props, so make sure you go around your house and you get all these things. First thing is a tennis ball, a lacrosse ball. If you have a massage ball, that's perfect, but these work just fine. The next thing you might want is a dish towel or a hand towel, and then you can just have it folded up to whatever height you want. We'll get into it. And last thing, and maybe the most bizarre, is a broomstick. So I just twisted the end off of my broomstick so that this can roll a little bit. Ideally, you have something like a wooden dowel or something like that at home, but if you're like me and you live in a little apartment and you don't have big pieces of wood hanging around, a broomstick is perfect. Great. So that's all you need, a few kind of random props, and we'll get right into it. Thanks. Okay, so first thing is first, we will do this part without any props. If you have a yoga mat, you can use it, you don't need to. And we're gonna come to a nice tabletop, so hands and knees. If your knees are a little bit on the sensitive side and you don't have a mat, you can use your folded tea towel underneath your knees. So from here, maybe the tops of your feet are on the ground. I want you to think about tucking your toes under. And if you wanted to get extra spicy, you could think about spreading your toes out nice and wide and even bringing the pinky toe down. So if your feet are in shoes all day long, this can already be a heck of a lot of a stretch. If you want a little bit more, walk your hands in and start to bring your hips down towards your heels. That'll bring a bit more pressure into your feet. If you want even more, then you could come up to kneeling. So while you're here, see if you can let the breath be nice and slow. If this feels like shit, if this feels terrible, don't worry about it. Come down a little bit. You can lower your hands whenever. Remember that you're here to feel good and release tension. So if you feel like your shoulders are coming up towards your ears and you're gripping your jaw, that might just be adding tension elsewhere. So make sure it's soft and feels good. So find your edge, find your limit, and honor it. So you can hold this for a few breaths. Sometimes in yin we'll go up to like a minute and a half. And then when you're ready, untuck your toes. Maybe you want to tap the top of your feet on the mat here. Or sometimes coming back to kneeling without your toes tucked under can feel nice too. So you can do that one every day or whatever feels good for you. Okay, so next thing is next. We're gonna do a nice little calf stretch, get into the ankle a little bit. So this is something I borrowed from Katie Bowman. Really highly recommend checking out her and her book. She's got a lot on feet. So let's take a step forward with one foot, doesn't matter which. And then just have your folded up towel on the ground here. And place your back toes of your back foot onto that towel and let your heels sink down into the ground. So you can play here with pressing forward. You'll feel this in your calf for sure. So the back of the lower leg here. And you can play around with the distance between your feet. You can play with the height of the towel. So if you wanted a little bit more intensity, you add a fold. So Katie Bowman's idea is put this down in front front of your kitchen sink or some other place where you stand a lot, and just get into this area here while you're doing other things, so it doesn't feel like this big task you have to accomplish. You're just getting a little foot, little calf stretch in here. You're doing your dishes, you're doing whatever else. Really nice way to bring this into your everyday life. Do it when you're watching TV. Our next one is a tennis ball. So kind of similar idea to the last one. Put it on the ground. Come up to standing. And just place it under kind of the ball of the foot, so just a little bit lower than kind of your toe knuckles. And same thing, if you want, you can hold on to a wall. I don't know if my camera is that high, but you can hold on to a wall here for a bit of support. And to start, I like to have the heel on the ground and just roll my foot side to side, getting that nice little massage in. You can play with spreading your toes, wiggling your toes. And this doesn't need to be the deepest massage you've ever had, just a nice little release. And then maybe you want to roll the inner arch of the foot back and forth along the ball. Yeah. And go as fast or as slow as you'd like. Generally, I prefer slow because you can be very aware of it, know what's happening, what's feeling best in your body. There is one more little kind of massage thing we can do, but this one doesn't require any props. It just requires you to not be foot phobic. So if you really hate touching your feet, this is probably the wrong video for you, but yeah. So think about spreading your toes real wide and then interlace your fingers between your toes like a zipper or like you're holding hands with your feet. Try to really wedge your fingers in deep, and you can move your toes around almost like you're at the salon here and they've put those things between your toes. Get some movement in there, nice and gentle. Maybe over time you can slide your fingers a little bit more. So when you're all done that, you can just sweep your foot off, let it go. We're gonna use the broomstick, the dowel, whatever you wanna call it. And essentially we're gonna use it pretty similar to the tennis ball. We're gonna put it down on the ground and we're gonna stand up. And same thing, you might wanna bring one hand onto a wall to help with your balance. And then make it so that your toes are all over the edge of that dowel. And again, it's kind of just at like the lowest knuckle. And then see here if you could spread your toes nice and wide and then press your toes like they want to come down to the ground. Really widen out through the toes, find some movement there. It's not too hard to feel this one. And you can add a little bit, maybe just rolling forward, pressing your foot down a bit. Again, go easy. And then maybe you want to take it just like a half an inch down. Same thing, spread out your toes. And there's another good stretchy part in there. And do that the whole way down until you reach towards like the heel of the foot. So pretend I'm holding this much longer than I am. And maybe you do some slow back and forth here, just rolling like a rolling pin. So same thing. And if you want, you could sneak in a little calf stretch. Step forward, hand on the wall, or maybe you've got a chair here, and lean forward just like you did with that tea towel. Once you're done, feel your brand new feet and give them a wiggle. Other things you can do throughout the day so that you don't forget about your feet is you can try to, even if you're wearing shoes, you can think about it, try to lift your toes up, spread your toes wide and put them down one at a time. See if you can wiggle your feet throughout the day or wiggle your toes throughout the day. And just remember to move them. So if you have a situation where you don't need to wear shoes, take them off. Maybe at home you take your shoes off or your slippers off and just move your feet around. So that was it. Thank you for joining me for your foot release video. I hope it helped. I hope your feet are feeling brand new. And let me know what you want to see more of, or if you have any questions. I'm pretty responsive on my YouTube comments. You can also find me at hannahbrownyoga.ca. Or you can find me on Instagram too, Hannah Brown Yoga. Hope to see you soon.